Okay, so now in this class, I'm going to discuss about Coulomb's law. Coulomb's law. Already we know that if there is a 2 plus charge, 2 are plus, so they will repulse each other. They will repulse each other. Two negative charges also repulse each other. One negative and one positive, they attract each other. So they are attracting each other or they are repulsing each other. That means there must be some force when these two charges either attracting each other or repulsing each other. There must be some force. And the question is, what is the force? That force is called, if there is a Q1 charge and there is another charge Q2 charge, maybe plus, maybe minus with a certain distance r. So they will repulse each other or attract each other by a force. That force is called Coulomb force. And this force is proportional to Q1 and Q2. Okay. This force is proportional to Q1, Q2. If the magnitude of the charges increases, then the force between them will increase. And this force is also inversely square of the distance between these two charges. That means if distance between these two charges increases, then force between them will decrease. If distance between them decreases, then force will increase. So the force between two charges F is proportional to the product between two charges and also inversely square of the distance between these two charges. That is called Coulomb's law. Okay. Now, if we solve this equation, this equation number 1 and equation number 2, so we can write F is proportional to Q1 Q2 by R square, or you can say F equals to, with a constant, K into Q1 Q2 by R square. Okay. So this is a constant. This constant has two values. K equals to 1 for CGS unit. So K equals to 1 in CGS unit and K equals to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught in SI unit. So K equals to 1 in CGS unit and K equals to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught in SI unit. So there are two values. What is epsilon here? Epsilon, that is called permittivity of free space. Permittivity of free space. That if there is an electric field, so if there is a charge, so this charge always produces some electric field. So the medium will allow the electric field. So how much electric field will be allowed by the medium, and that is called permittivity. And epsilon naught, this is the permittivity in free space. Okay. So our force formula F equals to, the entire formula is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 Q2 by RA square in SI unit. Now the question is, what is the unit and dimension? What is the unit and dimension? What is the unit and dimension of this epsilon naught? If you want to find out epsilon from this equation, so epsilon will be Q1 Q2 by 4 pi F into RA square. This is epsilon. So now we need to find out what is the dimension and unit of this epsilon. We know the unit of charge is Coulomb. So Coulomb into Coulomb. And unit of force is Newton. And unit of distance is meter square. Because there is a unit of distance is meter, there is R square, so it will be meter square. So the unit of epsilon is Coulomb square Newton inverse meter to the power minus 2. This is the unit of epsilon. And dimension, from this equation we can easily say what will be the dimension. So the dimension will be epsilon, for dimension will be the dimension of charge equals to current I into time, and dimension of force, that is mlt to the power minus 2. This is the dimension of force, and dimension of r is L square. So if we solve it, the entire dimension we can say I m inverse that is L square and L, so L to the power minus 3, there is t to the power minus 2, and there is a t, so it will be t to the power, okay, so sorry, there will be it and there will be it because there are c and c. Okay, so it will be I square m inverse L to the power minus 3 into t to the power, there is t to the power is t to the power minus 2 and t, so that will be t to the power 4. This is the dimension of epsilon. So there are unit is Coulombs square, Newton inverse, meter minus 2, and dimension equals to I square m inverse L to the power minus 3 and t to the power 4. This is the unit and dimension of epsilon. Okay, so now I will solve a question. Suppose in a question there is a 3 charges in an equilateral triangle. This is the first charge Q, this is the second charge Q, this is the third charge is also Q, plus Q, obviously plus Q, this is plus Q and plus Q, and each side of the triangle is A, this is A and this is A. Sides are equal because this is an equilateral triangle. The question is, what is the force on any charge? Suppose there is a 3 charges, so the question is, what is the force on a charge? We can find out the force on this charge, we can find out force on this charge, we can find out force on this charge. Suppose there is we are taking the point A, this point is A, I'm taking this point is B, and this point is C. Okay, so if the question is given, what is the force, what is the force at point C? So what can we say, what is the force at point C? So the force will be, so how many forces are acting at point Q, at point C? So at point C there are 2 forces are acting. One force is due to this charge, another force is due to this charge. Okay, so if I write the direction of the force, suppose this charge acting a force on this charge, which direction? This direction. And this charge is also applying a force on this charge, this direction, because the force is repulsive. Okay, so I'm writing, suppose this force is F1 and this force is F2. Okay, so what is the angle between them? Because we know in the equilateral triangle each angle is 60 degree, this angle is 60, this angle is 60, and this angle is also 60, so this angle will be 60. So angle between these 2 forces is 60 degree. Okay, now what will be F1? F1 will be 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. Q1 is Q, Q2 is also Q, this Q and this Q, because we want to find out F1. F1 means force between these 2 charges, or if you can say force due to this charge on this charge. So Q into Q by RA square. What is R here? R is the distance between these 2 charges. What is the distance? A, so A square. Okay, or we can say 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q square by A square. So this is the force. Okay, so similarly, what will be F2? F2 is this force. So due to this charge, so what will be the force? The force will be 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q into Q again. So Q into Q will be Q square by distance, so A square. So here F1 equals to F2, because in the both equation that is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q square by A square, and this is also 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q square by A square. So we can write F1 equals to F2 equals to F. right? Okay, now what is the net force acting? Because we need to find out that what is the net force. So net force means, look, one force is F1 this direction, another force is F2 is this direction, and the angle between them is 60 degree. Now which formula we need to apply? Vector formula. And what is the formula for resultant vector formula? We know that if there is a two vector, one vector is A, another vector is B. Okay, so what is the resultant vector? If the angle is theta, so the formula is R vector equals to A square plus B square plus 2AB cos theta with root. Okay, when if there is a two vector, obviously the two vector is diverging vector, not converging vector. The two vector is diverging vector from a point, and the angle between them is theta. Okay, student. If we apply the same formula here, one force is F1, another force is F2. So what will be the equation? So the equation will be F net. We can write here F net equals to F1 square plus F2 square plus 2F1 F2 cos theta. What is theta here? Theta equals to 60 degree. Okay. So we have already taken the value that F1 equals to F2 equals to F. So we can write here F square plus F square 2F1 F2. So 2 into F1 F2, because F1 equals to F2, so it will be F square, and cos 60 degree equals to 1 by 2. Okay, after solving this, we are getting that is root 3 into F, and root 3 into F equals to Q squared by 4 pi epsilon naught A square. So this is the answer of this question.